Welcome to Market Masterclass on this Wednesday, the 29th of November, and we're looking at island economies set in the main oceans of the world, and on this occasion we're looking at the North Indian Ocean, and we're looking at the Maldives, which are famous for essentially tourists coming from Europe. Maldives, interestingly enough, is a massive group of islands. There's actually 1,190 islands, of which only 198 are inhabited, but tourism is by far the biggest economy. The GDP of the country is $4.55 billion. The GDP growth rate is about 6% per year. And the foreign tourists also provide something like 60% of foreign exchange in the country. The tourism expansion in the 1980s went up 265%. In the 90s, it went up 115%, so extremely critical. And 90% plus of government tax revenues come from the import duties and the tourism industry. Fishing is a major industry. Agriculture is very minor. The cultured land is extremely insignificant. There is some industry by way of garment production, a little bit of boat building, and handicrafts. Those three make up about 80% of the GDP. GDP by sector, services, all of course focusing in on the tourism industry, makes up 73%. Industry 23%, agricultural just 4%. Tourism brings in something like £325 million a year, dollars a year, which is equal to well over 30% of the GDP. Exports, fish is one of the exports. UAE takes 28% of their exports, Singapore 16%, India 9%, Sri Lanka 6%, Thailand 5%. Imports, Singapore is 18%, UAE 11%, India 9%, Malaysia 8%, and there we go, here comes China. China essentially taking over the world, and here they're already importing 6.7% of the product. The exports for tuna made up something like £40 million in the year, just way back in the year 2000, and that's on the increase. So 1 million visitors to the country on the tourism side in 2014. As I said, mainly European, and below the poverty line, living in the country, just 16%. And it's one of the countries which has a very good rating in terms of the ease of doing business there. So a very productive tourism centre. And by the way, 34% of the population are on the internet. But the whole economy significantly driven by tourism because of the beauty and the natural beaches and snorkeling and diving in the Maldives, in the North Indian Ocean, below India. Hope you found that useful and interesting. Bye for now.